Hi there, Rob here, and this is the first of a few videos to do with getting Illustrator to do a bit of work for you. We're going to work with the Live Trace tool, which is really good for taking, essentially pixel images and converting them into vectors. And if I take you through it, it'll help you understand what it does. It does have some limits, and I'll talk about those, but start off. I've got a file which I'll just go and place using File, Place Menu command onto my document. It's this one here, and it's just a little squiggle of the letter R. Place that, and I'll just drag that across my page there, just to place it at a decent size. As you can see, it's a bit fuzzy. It's on a piece of paper. It was taken with a phone, but probably too close, a bit wobbly. So we'll see what happens with this to start with. Whenever you have a image file that you've placed in Illustrator, you'll have the option in your control bar to use the image trace command, and this converts, it goes through a two-step process. It converts your image into a tracing object, and from that it can convert it into vectors. So you can start by just clicking on the image trace button. You may or may not get this. I will not show it again. And it will take a little time depending on how quick your computer is. I got lucky, or maybe I've just got a quick computer. And that is its first attempt at converting that squiggle. So if I just step back one, you can see it's gone. It's done a pretty good job actually. It hasn't picked up any of the noise in the background from this kind of uncoated paper. All these little bits here where the pencil is. And if I just step forward again, not too bad at all. Now if I go back to the beginning, you can actually pick which of the presets that the image trace command has by just clicking on that little triangle just to the right of the image trace button, and you can tell it what kind of image it's starting with. So it went with the default by clicking on the button. I might want to try and go for the black and white logo preset. Pretty similar. I think I'm going to get fairly similar results with this. It's a black and white image, so it's fairly easy for it to pick out. If you have got to this tracing object, if you look in your layers panel, you'll actually see that it is a image tracing. So this is a kind of first step process. It's still seen as an image, and I can alter the presets and go and try some of the different options here once I've got my trace image there. Maybe I'll go for line art. Now it's picked up next to nothing. Now you can adjust a lot of your presets in this image trace panel, and you can get into some quite serious detail in terms of how you get Illustrator to try and convert your drawing. I won't go into everything then. I'll just say a few different options. Sometimes with a black and white drawing you will get pretty much the same thing on a lot of the options. A lot of it depends on the size of your original picture and the quality. Now I've got a picture from a 12 megapixel camera phone, so it's pulled up quite a big image. I should have probably done some work in it in Photoshop just to crop it down and things. Here we go, we've gone with a shades of grey image, and it's a lot more sort of fidelity in terms of a lot closer fidelity to the original image, so it has picked up some of these little scrape marks and some of the texturing in the paper. And if I clicked on expand now, that would convert this image into many vector points. Now for this example, I'm just going to go back to, the default one worked as well. Here we go. And if I click on the expand button now, that converts my tracing object into vector paths. Now I could probably do a better job using the pen tool to draw this kind of logo, although if I did want to go for these kind of edge effects where the edges sort of have a roughened effect, then I'm probably using the Live Trace tool for its correct job. Once you've done the expand, you'll need to just do a little bit of work just to get your image just ready to use. At the moment, if I use my black selection tool, my whole image includes the edge of the original image file that I placed. Easiest way of getting rid of that is just to use your direct selection tool, hover over until you find where the line is, select it, and just hit the delete key twice, and you should now have a nice vector shape there. And this comes up in your layers panel as a group of a few paths. Now it's actually managed to make one path and another path, and it can come up with some slightly odd results because it's computed in the drawing, not a human being. Although generally, one thing to check is to make sure that your background is okay. I'm just going to pull in a quick black rectangle, or actually a coloured rectangle. So I'll just change the colour on that. Nice pink there. And you can see where parts of the image aren't actually show through, so you might want to go back in and do some adjustments. Now I'll use the direct selection tool. I'll just click on that little white area there, try again. No, there we go. Now what's happened is it's tried to create a white space in there. That should really be a compound path, so the white there should actually cut out of the black rather than just be sitting on top. Now I won't go into the full details here, I'll save that for another video, but ultimately if you want to use the image trace tool, once you've finished working with everything, you have your nice group of vectors there. And the great thing is, of course, now they're vectors, you can enlarge them as big or as small as you want.